once you have your project mostly done, there's a few finishing touches that you might want to put on your project. And there's a couple of things I want to tell you about exporting and actually what happens when you're finally finished with your movie. So as you can see, we mostly finished our movie. It has all the transitions that we'd like. It has all the pans and zooms that we'd like, and it's pretty much done. Now there's a couple of things that we can add to it. Now, firstly, if you ever would like to change the length of transitions between each piece, you can go here to Template and then go to Transition, and you can actually make this transition much longer. You can make it 4 or 5 seconds long, however long, and that would basically be a crossfade. So it would take about 2 seconds off one piece and 2 seconds off the other, and it would fade it if it was 4 seconds long. You can fiddle around with this and see what you think, see if you like certain ones better. Now, before we get into adding titles, which is another thing I think that lots of people would like to do, we are actually going to talk about what happens when you export this. Now, Soundslides doesn't actually export a movie. What Soundslides does is creates a web page for you. This web page is created inside of this folder, the project folder that we talked about earlier. And all of this gets loaded, this published to web, all of that would get loaded. There's nothing in it now because I haven't exported, but when I do, it would all get loaded into a web page, and then people could navigate to this page and see it. Now that's not as useful to some people, especially if people want to use YouTube or Vimeo to show their work, or if they have their website on their own, which isn't coded in HTML or something else, and they don't want to have to go through the trouble of pulling those things out. So Soundslides has this converter, and I'll put a link on the page that you're watching this video on, but it's tools.soundslides.com/converter. And all you need to do is tell it what size it's going to be. You can put your email in there if you like, but you could also just leave the window open and it will pop up. It will basically pop up when it's done and say, hey, I'm finished. It can include lower thirds and include movement, and then you hit continue. It's going to ask you, it's going to say, you need to put in your exported publish to web folder. Now, what it's not saying is that needs to be a zip file. Now, there's a special way to do that, and I'm going to show you how to do that right now. If I wanted to export this the way it is, I need to go to File, Export and Zip. Now, if I do that, it's going to take a second. Once it's done, here it is inside my Walden folder. So all I need to do is go to Select File, go to Walden. Here it is again in Walden, published to web.zip. Now I can open that file, and it's going to take a second to upload it, and it's going to say it's in the queue for processing. There's one item ahead. If I don't want to wait, I can just have them email me, and then they would let me know. But it's also pretty fast. You could just let it go here. What we'll do is we'll minimize the window for now. So Soundslides has taken care of that. Now what Soundslides is going to produce is a download for an MP4. MP4s can be loaded directly onto YouTube, or MP4s can be used as embeds in sites and things like that. So it's a useful file. You could also convert it to another type of movie file once you have the MP4. So another thing that people like to do is add titles to their piece. I know I like to add titles just to let people know what it is. Now, the way in which you do that is kind of strange. You have to go to Audio, and then you have to go to Lower Thirds. Now, once you're here, you add a spot. Now, you add a lower third. Now, where the playhead is where it's going to add it. So I don't want it to be at the very beginning, but I want it to be just almost at the beginning here at 0.7 seconds. We'll put it at 1 second. As you can see, here's the timer. It's at 1 second now. I'm going to add it. So now it's blank. And if I were to play this, it would say name, title. Now I think they have these mixed up. I personally would think that you would have your title be larger than your name. So what I'm going to do is call it Walden in the name portion. And I'm going to put my name in the title portion. Now I can change its duration if I want. I can change it to, say, 8 seconds. Once I take it off, once I move my cursor off of it, it's fine. You don't have to hit add again. If you hit add again, you're going to put a new one in here, and you don't want a new one. You'll have to delete that entire one. So you have this. All you have to do is take your cursor off, and it'll automatically save it. So now let's see what this looks like.
And let us not forget Henry David Thoreau, whom any discussion of simple living must.
So it fades in and fades out, and then you're able to put a little title on it. This portion here, this project info, is really only if you're going to use this as a website. You can put your piece here, and then your credits would go here, but they would actually be listed underneath your piece. So that's how you produce and export your Soundslides movie. Remember that you can always contact me with any questions. My email address is bcicirel@depaul.edu, or you can also call me. There's ways to find me in the DePaul directory.